First, make sure this absolute value, you keep it on its own, okay? This absolute value, you keep it on one side. So anything next to the absolute value, like this plus 7, you have to remove it from here. You remove it by subtracting 7, exactly like when you solve a linear equation. Just subtract 7. Okay, so when you subtract 7, the 7 minus 7 gives you 0. And you are left only with absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals 4 minus 7 gives you negative 3. Okay, now you have to look at it. Absolute value equals negative. This never happens. This is impossible. You just say impossible, because the absolute value is never negative. Or you can choose to say no solution. No solution. Or if it is multiple choice and they give you the option, the set of solution is the empty set. Sometimes they do it this way. Sometimes they do it this way, just the set with nothing inside. All these options, they are equivalent. Okay, so remember, if it is equal negative, no solution. And then in the graph, you leave it blank. Don't put anything. You only graph when you have solutions. Now, the second equation. In the second equation, we do the same. We have plus 7 here. We do minus 7, subtract 7 from each side. 7 minus 7 cancel each other. They give you 0. And you are left with the absolute value 2x minus 5 equals 10 minus 7 is 3. As you can see here, we have absolute value that equals a positive number. So this one, you can solve it. And to solve it, you have to remove the absolute value. Okay, so you split this into 2. One of them should be 3. The other one should be negative 3. Who is 3 and negative 3? The expression inside the absolute value. Okay, this expression. 2x minus 5 should be 3 or negative 3. So what you do, you put 2x minus 5 equals 3, or make sure you write here or, and here 2x minus 5 equals negative 3. And then you solve it like when you solve a linear equation. There are 2 linear equations. You add 5 here to each side, and you get 2x equals 3 plus 5, 8, and then divide by 2, and you get x equals 4. This is one solution. You do the same here. You add 5 to each side. These 2 cancels, so you get 2x equals 2, and then divide by 2 each side, and you get 2x divided by 2, 2 by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so you get x equals 2 divided by 2 is 1, and this is the other solution. So the solution set, S for solution, S for set, is the set of the 2 values, 1 and 4. These are your solutions, okay? And when you graph them, just go to the line and put a dot on the 1 and another dot on the 4. And that's it. This is how you solve this question. We're going to solve this. We have here minus 2 and minus 4. Make sure you start with the plus minus first, okay? Don't start with multiplication. It's the reverse of the order of creation because you're doing the reverse. So we start with eliminating this minus 4 by adding 4 to each side. So when you add 4 to each side, you get 2 times absolute value of x plus 4 equals 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay. Now we eliminate these two by division. Divide by 2, divide by 2. This 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. Okay, so we don't write the 1. 1 times anything doesn't change. So we get x plus 4 equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. And here we are. We have x plus 4 equals 3. It's positive. And because it's positive, we carry on. If it was negative, we stop. We say no solutions. Here you get two equations, x plus 4 positive or x plus 4 negative 3. Both of them, when you take absolute value, you get 3. This gives you x equals, by subtraction, you subtract 4, you get negative 1. And this gives you, same by subtraction, you take away 4, you get negative 7. And these are your two solutions. So solution set, S for solution, S for set equals, and you put your two values, negative 7 and negative 1. By the way, when you write the solution set, the order doesn't matter. These are not coordinates. You can put any order. Okay. Now you plot them, just go to negative 1 and put a dot, and go to negative 7 and put a dot. When you are done, that's it. Question 3. Let me show you how to do it quickly, this question 3. You know, when they give you two numbers here, like here, 5 and negative 5, you have to find the midpoint, the center between them, which is minus 5 plus 5. In the middle, you get 0. This is your center. Okay, and you have to find the distance from this center to any solution. The solution here, 5, the distance is 5. And you get to find this is the same distance. If you chosen your center correctly, this is 5. So the equation here is absolute value of x minus your center, which is here 0, okay, equals the distance, this distance, 5. Of course, you don't leave it x minus 0, because x minus 0 is x. So absolute value of x equals 5, and this answers your question. Let's do this again. So you have negative 3 and 1 as solution. The midpoint between them, the center is this value. Okay, this is your center equals negative 1. And then the distance between the center and the solution, any solution, as you can see, they are 2 units. They say the distance is 2. This is your absolute value. So what do you say? You say absolute value equals 2 of x minus your center, which is what? Minus negative 1. Okay, so minus negative 1. And this gives you absolute value of x minus with minus, these two minuses, it becomes plus 1. Okay, this one is confusing me. Let's make it like this. Equals 2. And we are done. Now we go to your question. This question. Solve and graph on a number line each compound inequality. So you need to solve them one by one. So you need to take, let me change the color. Maybe the red is horrible. You need to change them one by one. I mean, you need to solve them one by one. So we solve this exactly like when you solve an equation. Okay, so you have plus 2 here. You eliminate it by subtraction from each side. So 2 minus 2, 0, and you get only 3x. Make sure you copy this as it is, okay? So you copy it. If you want to read it, it's more. Negative 10 with negative 2 gives you negative 12. Okay, this is the first step. The next step is eliminate that 3, the factor, the coefficient is 3. because it's multiplication, so you have to do the opposite, which is what? Division. We divide each side. This 3 over 3, they cancel because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and you get only x more than negative 12 over 3 is negative 4. So this is the solution of the first inequality, this one. Now you do the same for the second inequality. You solve this one, same way. Let's change the color. So here we have plus 3. We do the opposite of add, which is what? Subtract. So you subtract 3 from each side. So this cancels. You get negative 2x, as you can see, on its own. Negative 2x less than 7 minus 3, which is 4. Now, we need to eliminate this negative 2. To do that, we have to divide by negative 2. However, here you have to be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Why I say be careful? Because you're going to divide by negative 2. So when you divide by negative, you have to reverse the inequality. Remember this becomes more. So what do we get? We get x more than 4 divided by negative 2, which is minus negative 2. And this is your solution. I said be careful, be careful, be careful many times. When you divide by negative, you change the direction of the inequality. Now, these two are separated with the word or. So in your solution, put or. Okay? If they want you to write the solution set, write it like this. Let's write it with the solution set is the values of x such as x is more than negative 4. We just copy this. Okay? Or, and you copy this. X more than negative 2. But this can be simplified actually. Let's draw and see how to simplify it. Now we draw. It's better to draw before you put the solution set. This is my advice. If I draw x more than negative 4, this part, I go to negative 4 and I put a circle, empty circle, because we don't have equal. If we had equal, we put solid. Okay. So here, empty circle at negative 4, and then more, you go to the right. This is how you go. This is x more than negative 4. Because the value on the right, these values are more than negative 4. If you go to the left, you get to these values. These are less than negative 4. X more than negative 2. Let's draw it with red. Something like that. So you go to negative 2, which is here, and you put an empty circle, and you go to the right. Okay? These are the values more than negative 2. But it says or. What does it mean or? Any solution that verifies x more than negative 2 and or verifies x more than negative 4 is a solution. So if I look here, the values that verify this verifies both of them, verifies this or this. So always when you have or, you use what we call a union. You take the one that covers all of them. Okay. Sometimes you get them in different directions, you take all of them. So in this case, the solution set, you have to show what is your solution set in the graph, because you have to run 2 lines. And these 2 lines, they don't show the solution set. They show the solution of each inequality. So I'm going to use a different color, green. And I say from negative 4 and above is the solution set. So this is my solution set. So when you graph, always make sure you show what is your solution set. And now I'm going to improve my solution set. I'm going to remove this or and remove this and put only x more than negative 4, because this covers all of them. Okay. Here we have end. You do the same. What do? You solve each one on its own. So it's like repeating the same process. Minus 2, minus 2. So 3x is more than negative 12. Divide by 3, you get x more than negative 4. It's the same inequality we have solved before. The only difference here you have and not or. So you can see what's the difference between both of them. Minus 3, minus 3, you get negative 2x equals 4. Sorry, not equals. Be careful at this. Huh? We are not with an equation. We are with an inequality. So you copy it as it is, negative 4. And then divide by negative 2, you get x reverse because you divide by negative more than 2. So what's the difference between this and this? They're the same. The only difference, the first one has an or in it. This one has an or, and this one has an and. Let's see how to show the solution in this case. So we know that more than negative 4, at negative 4, we go to the right. More than 2, more than 2. What did they do before? Here I have done mistake. 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4 is not negative 4. 7 minus 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. And then when you divide, you get negative 2. Okay, I corrected my mistake. So you go from negative 2 and above. All of it can go forever. Now, end. What does mean end? It has any solution of the inequalities of both of them should verify both of them. If you say verify both of them, we take the intersection. So what is the intersection? It's this exactly, from negative 2 and above. These are the solution set. Solution set. Why? Because any value here verify this one and verify this one. But if you take, for example, this value, this doesn't match, doesn't verify the second one, because end means it has to verify both of them, not only one of them. But or means verify either of them, verify this or verify that. Any solution here you accept it, any solution here you accept it. However, for end, you accept the ones that verify this and this at the same time. Okay? Whatever verify both of them, you accept it. So if we take, for example, negative 3 doesn't verify the second one. It verifies only the first one, so we don't accept it. That's what does mean end. Okay. This one, some people, they split it into 2. They put -1, sorry, let me take another color. They put S -1 more equal than 3x plus 2. And because it's double, they put end. Whenever you see double, you put end. 3x plus 2 more than -10. And they solve. But there is a short way to do it without doing all this. And you get straight away to the solution set. What you need to do is this. You have +2, you need to do -2. But when you do this -2, you do it everywhere. There are three sides here. Okay, so you do -2 everywhere. -1, -1, -2 gives you -3. And then you copy your inequality as it is, and you put your 3x because these two they cancel, and more than -12. Then you know that you have to divide by 3. Divide everywhere. It's very simple if you do it this way. Okay, these 3 cancels and you get x. And you put your inequality here. 3/3 is 1, so you get -1. And here -12/3 is -4. And here is your solution. This is the solution set. Now, to graph this is easy. You just put -1 and -4 where they're supposed to be. -4 is here, so you put a dot here. And -1 is somewhere here. exactly here. So you put another dot here. And then in between, this means in between. So you join in between like this. Now look back at your inequality. You see that at -1, there is equal. Can you see here? Less to equal. That means there is equal. When you see the equal, you go to that value and you put a solid point. That means you include this solution. A -1, you include it in your solution set. At -4, there is no equal. As you can see here, there is no equal. So you leave it empty, the circle. Okay, and that's it. If they ask you to write the solution set, you write it like this. Solution set equals the values of x, such as x is between -1, this way, and -4. And that's it. Very simple. Okay. Let's see here how to write compound inequality that represent the graph shown. Very simple. This one, look here, you can see that your values x are between 1 and 7. So you put 1 on the left, 7 on the right, and you put this order. It's like you order 1 less than x less than 7. Because you have a solid point, you have to put equal. And you have here a solid point, you have to put equal. And you're done. This is very simple question if you understand the graph. Okay, we go to the other one. The other one, you cannot have a double inequality. You have to do this on its own, which is x less than or equal -5. And you have to do this on its own, which is x more or equal than 4. And you have to put here or, because it takes these or these. You cannot put and here. Okay. Let's see the other one. That's it. We finished inequalities. This is about the slope and equation of a line and stuff like that. Write an equation in the slope-intercept form of the line parallel to the given lines. So they gave you this line and passing through this point. So here we have too many information. So whenever they ask you to write an equation in a slope-intercept form, you need to think about the slope. You see slope, you calculate slope. Now the slope, how do you get it? In this case, you get it from this line, from the given line, this one. Because it says parallel to this line. So my new line is parallel to this line. If they are parallel, they have the same slope. Remember, same slope. This is when they are what? Parallel. Parallel means what? Same slope. Now, you need to be able to find the slope from the equation. The equation is in front of you. Y equals 1/4x minus 8, this equation. If you want to know what is the slope, remember that if the equation is on this form, y equals mx plus b, always remember that this number here in front of x, the coefficient of x, is what we call a slope. So this is your slope. So in my equation, where is this slope? I look for x. This is x. The number next to it as a product, as a factor, is 1/4. So this is the m. So m equals what? 1/4. So this is the slope of this line and the slope of any parallel line So the parallel line as well has this as a slope. So m for the parallel line is 1 over 4. We finished with the slope. So slope equals 1 over 4 because they are parallel. Now, we don't need to look at this equation anymore. Okay? This equation, we have used it only to get the slope. Now we go into the question. They want an equation of a new line in a slope-intercept form that has a slope 1 over 4 and pass through the point -4, 2. That means we have to use the point -4 and 2. And write the equation. The equation in general, y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Remember this, maybe they provided in the formula sheet. I don't know, let me check. It is in the formula sheet. They give only how to calculate the slope, للأسف. They only give you how to calculate the slope. They don't give you the formula for the equation, so you need to memorize it, okay? Okay, and use it. So you put y minus y1 is the y for the point given. This is y1. So you put it 2 equals m is the slope. We said the slope is 1 over 4. So you put 1 over 4. Bracket x minus x1 is the x given. This one. This line passes through this point, so you put minus -4. As soon as you set up this, you just simplify it. Don't leave it like this, because this form is called point slope. Point slope. But we need slope intercept. We need this form, slope intercept. Make sure you know the difference. Slope intercept is this way. Y equals mx plus b. Slope intercept. This b is the intercept, this m is the slope. So you change your equation to that form, this equation. Only y on one side. So this -2 should move to the other side. Okay? So what do? You put y equals, you add 2. If you want to move it, add 2. And you get 1 over 4 times x minus. By the way, minus minus, don't leave it like this. Minus minus becomes plus. So you put plus 4 and then plus 2 outside the bracket, okay? After you do this, very simple, make sure you multiply 1 over 4 times x and 1 over 4 times 4, okay? Simplify it this way. So y equals 1 over 4 x, when you multiply by x, plus 1 over 4 times 4. 1 over 4 times 4. This is exactly 1. You don't know how to calculate this, I tell you, just simplify this 4, you get 1. Or use a calculator. So plus 1, plus that 2, these 2, don't forget it. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So you get your equation on the form y equals 1 over 4 x plus 3. This form is called slope-intercept form, exactly like what I said here. mx plus b. Can you see it? mx plus b. This is m and this is b. And that's it. Okay? Question 11. Find the slope of any line perpendicular to the given line. Now, we have perpendicular to the given line. So we come to the given line. This is the given line. We need first to find the slope of this line. Okay? There are many ways to calculate the slope of this line. You can use the formula, which is given in the formula sheet, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is given actually in the exam. And you need to know where are your y's and where are your x's. These are my y's, the 0 and the 2. So I'm going to put 0 minus 2 or 2 minus 0, it doesn't matter. I prefer to put 2 minus 0. Okay, when you put 2 minus 0, that means you want this direction. This is y2. So if you put this y2, you should put this x2. Okay, so here we put 0 minus 4. Okay, x minus x, 0 and 4. Same direction, okay, don't change direction. You can start anywhere, but when you come to the other part, you use the same direction. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Don't leave it like this, okay? Because this can be simplified as negative 1 over 2. This is the slope of the given line. So this line has a slope equals negative 1 over 2. We need the slope of a perpendicular line to this line. Remember the rule, if you have a slope m for a line, m slope for a line, the slope for the perpendicular, this is symbol of perpendicular line, should be exactly what you have in this slope m, but you reverse it. You reverse it reciprocal and sign, minus 1 over m. That's what you need to do. So you have to reverse this. If you reverse this, you get 2. If you do the reverse, you get 2. So the slope of the perpendicular, the answer for this question is slope equals 2. Why? Because you change the sign. If it is minus, you change it to plus. And if it is 1 over 2, you change it to the reciprocal, which is 2. And that's why you get the slope equals 2. Okay? Now, I'm going to do question 12 because it talks about parallel and perpendicular again. Okay, so we carry on with this so you get the idea. Find the indicated variable that satisfies the given condition. In this case, the line containing these 2 points is parallel to the line containing these 2 points. Oh yes, this might come in the exam. You are required to find A. If they are parallel, that means they have same slope, equal slope. That means the slope of one of them is equal to the slope of the other one. That's it. Now calculate the slope of this line using the formula is given in the exam. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Make sure you use it. So we take y2 as negative 3. This negative 3 is the y. And we take y1 as 2. So negative 3 minus 2 over. And we take a as x2. So this a is x2. This is y2, okay? This is x1. And this is y1. So we get a minus 1. x2 minus x1 is a minus 1. We have a variable here, you don't need to worry, because we're going to solve it. Equals, we take the slope of the second line, which is passing by these 2 points. We use the same formula. So let's take this 0.2 and this 0.1. So we get negative 2 minus 1, okay? Negative 2 minus 1 over 3 minus 0, x2 minus x1. Now just simplify. What is negative 3 minus 2? This one. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5 over a minus 1 equals negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3 over 3 minus 0 is 3. Now we need to solve this equation, okay? Here we need to know how to solve rational equations. So that's why this is included in your KPIs for the end of year exam, okay? So to solve this, make sure you use what we call cross multiply. You can simplify it. I know some of you, they think that 3 over 3 is 1. Yeah, you can put it 1 if you want. And you can solve like this. Doesn't matter. But let's simplify it. If I simplify it, I get minus 5 over a minus 1 equals 3 over 3 is 1. So you get negative 1. Okay. And now, if you want to use cross multiply, put this over 1 and do your cross multiply, cross product, whatever you call it. So these two together and these two together. 1 times negative 5, 1 times negative 5 should be equals to negative 1 times a minus 1. Negative 1 times a minus 1. Make sure you learn how to solve these equations. After you do this, you're done. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. And negative 1 times, you just expand it. Negative 1 times a is negative a. Or negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. Now, just subtract 1. You get negative 6 equals negative a. And finally, a equals 6. Multiply by minus or change the sign. It's up to you. Okay, do it the way you want. A equals what? 6. And here we are. Here's the answer for this question. Okay. Containing this and perpendicular. So to this line, we start with the slope of this line. So slope equals, as you can see, it's the coefficient of x, 1 over 4. Slope equals 1 over 4. Now, perpendicular of the slope of the perpendicular. Okay, I said you reverse, which is 4, and you change the sign. This is plus, you make it minus. Okay, now the line passes through this point. Okay, and perpendicular. That means the slope of this line should be negative 4. It passed through this point and this point. This point is hidden. Oh, if you don't read the question carefully, you don't see. This line is passing through to 2 points. You know, I stopped a little bit thinking, what is the second point? How can I solve this question with 1 point only? We need 2 points. This origin is dangerous. Sometimes they say origin, make sure you say it, and you say, this is 0, 0. Hey, 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 we know it. Now, you have 2 points, 2b and 0, 0. So, the slope of this line should be equal to negative 4. So what you calculate the slope here from these 2 points, y2 minus y1, which is b minus 0, over x2 minus x1, which is 2 minus 0. This slope should be equal to the slope that we have found for the perpendicular, equals negative 4. After that, just simplify and solve. B minus 0 is b, 2 minus 0 is 2, equal negative 4. This one you don't need cross multiply, just multiply by 2 each side. Multiply here by 2 and here by 2. This is very simple. When you multiply by 2, you get b equals negative 8, and you're done. Any question? Given the slope of line M containing, be careful, this M is not a slope, it's a line. This is a little bit tricky, confusing you. That's the problem with mathematics. They said you the slope is M, the slope is M, and now they say the line is M. So make sure you don't confuse yourself. This is a line, not the slope, okay? Read the question carefully. Not every time you see M, you say slope, no. Okay, this is a line, and it has a slope that is negative 3. This negative 3 is the slope of this line, okay? So, slope, you have to be good at English, because you have to read the sentence. Given the slope of line M containing these 2 points is negative 3. So, who is negative 3? Now, is the slope. So, slope equals negative 3. Now, we have 2 points. These 2 points, we can use them to calculate the slope as well, which is y2 minus y1. y2 is negative 2, y1 is 1, so I put negative 2 minus 1 over x2, which is x. I put x minus x1, which is 2. I put minus 2, and I put it equals the slope. The slope is what? Negative 3. And we solve. So to solve this, first we simplify this negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3 over x minus 2 equals negative 3. And then you can cross multiply. Put this over 1 and cross product. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 equals, and then negative 3 times x minus 2. Make sure you put bracket. Put bracket because this negative 3 should multiply all this, all of it. So you put it inside bracket and you expand. Actually, I forgot negative. Put negative here. And then negative 3 times x, negative 3x, negative 3 times negative 2 plus 6 equals negative 3. And then carry on. Wow, alhamdulillah, there is some space I can carry on. Carry on here. Minus 6, you get minus negative 9 equals negative 3x. And then divide by negative 3. Remember, when you divide by negative, you change the direction. So this equal becomes like this. Don't worry, I'm joking. Even if you change direction of equal, it becomes equal. It doesn't change. Okay, so negative 3 divided by negative 9 divided by negative 3 is what? 3 equals x. And that's the value of x. Here we are. I am done with the slope. I think this video is enough for you. If angle 3 is congruent to angle 7, you go to the diagram and you ask yourself, where is 3? Here is 3. Where is 7? Here is 7. These two angles are congruent. Determine which lines, if any, are parallel. So in this case, the lines that are parallel are these two lines. Okay. These are the two lines that makes this these two angles, G and H. So you say G is parallel to H. Justify. State the postulate or theorem to justify. So these two angles, they relate to each other with this transversal as you have two options, alternate, corresponding, or consecutive. So they are not alternate, they are on the same side. As you can see, both of them are on the right of the transversal. This is your transversal. I do it in blue. This is your transversal. They are all on this side, on the left. So they're not alternate. Alternate, one on the left and one on the right. So they're not alternate. So are they consecutive? No. Consecutive are like 8 and 5, 2 and 6. They are all interior. Okay. So they are corresponding. So these two angles are what? Corresponding. So what do you say? You say corresponding. Make sure you prove they're parallel. Because you prove parallelism, you have to say converse. Okay? Converse of corresponding. Corresponding angles theorem. Is that clear? Do you understand it? We go to 3 and 1. Where is 3 and 1? 3 is here and 1 is here. Can you see? That means this is a transversal. This is what? Transversal. Okay. So the parallel lines are the other two lines. They make angle with transversal. This line and this line. The two lines that make 3 and 1. So they are P and Q. So in this case, you say P parallel to Q. Reason, these two, they have the sum of 180. We call them consecutive, these two, 1 and 3. So we say converse again, because we prove parallel. So converse, consecutive angles theorem. That's it. Okay. Now, this one. Question 15. Use the given diagram. Measure of 4 is 74. This is 4. This is 74 degrees. And measure of. Make sure you put your information on the diagram to visualize the question. Measure of 9 is 2x plus 30. This is 9. 2x plus 30 is the measurement. What is the value of x for which the lines G and H are parallel? So G and H are these two lines are parallel. Q is the transversal. So these two angles are alternate, as you can see. واحدة على اليمين واحدة على اليسار. One on the left, right, and one on the left. They are alternate when you look at them. Exterior. So they are alternate exterior. Alternate exterior. If you don't understand something, ask me. I am just revising things that you know. The exterior outside the two lines. Can you see? Can you see this part and this part? These are exterior. Outside the lines G and H. The interior is in between. These are interior, like 5, angle 5, angle 8, angle 7, angle 2. These are interior. But the angle 1, angle 3 and 4, angle 9, these are exterior. And that's why I said here, alternate exterior. Okay. And what they say, find the value of x for which the lines G and H are parallel state. Converse, because you need to find for which they are parallel. So you say converse. Converse alternate exterior theorem. Okay. And now the alternate angles must be equal. So this measurement should be equal to this measurement. So you put 2x plus 30 equals to 74, and you solve. You solve it normal, minus 30 to each side. You can see linear equations are everywhere. Everywhere in the math. Wherever you go, you find the linear equations. 70 minus 30 is 40, so 44. And then divide by 2. Divide by 2. You get your x. Let's carry on here. You get your x equals 44 divided by 2 is 26. They're asking for x. I found x. They said, what's the value of x? I found x. And that's it. Here, they say, is it possible to prove that the support poles of the antenna complex are parallel? Justify. So they're talking about these supports, this one. Let's have different color. Which color I'm going to use so you can see black. So they're talking about this and this, these two lines. Can you see them? They say, can we prove they are parallel? So to do that, you look at the angles. The angles are 120, okay, 120 and 54. These are the given information. So you have to use the given information. These two lines are consecutive. This is a transversal. Can you see? This is a transversal. So add them and see. If they are 180, then we can prove it. So consecutive angles, when the lines are parallel, should add up to 180. They are supplementary. So here you get 4, here you get 7, here you get 174. This is not 180. That means we can prove they're not parallel. Is it possible to prove that the support line complex are parallel? You say they are not. Okay. They are not parallel. Reason, justify. Reason, you have to keep this in your work, and you say consecutive angles theorem, but converse. Make sure you talk about converse because you want to prove parallel or not parallel. Converse consecutive angles theorem not verified. That's it. This is how you prove this. Okay. This is, we solved it in ClassClick. You can find it if you want. These two lines are parallel. These books are parallel, that's it. Because of these lines, these angles are congruent, 70 degrees each. This is transversal. These are your lines. So they are parallel. That's what you can say about this. What can you say about these two orange books? You just say parallel. Reason, converse, corresponding angles. These are corresponding angles. That's it.